G'day everyone and welcome to my art channel, Brushes with Beck. Today's video is going to be a really casual one. I'm just going to be working a little bit on this little rat drawing that I started probably middle of last year. It's been sitting in my sketchbook for quite some time and I just thought I could do a little bit of work on it today, have a bit of a chat with you guys and just, have a relaxing time doing some artwork. So yeah, just a really easygoing video this week, nothing very technical. I'm using the Strathmore toned grey sketchbook and my really old Prismacolor Premier coloured pencils. You can see some of these are really little. They've been very well used and I use them for sketching and practicing and that sort of thing. So they're really handy to have around for that. So we're just going to work on this little rat here. I've got my reference photo up on my computer screen and I'm just working from that really. This might be the wrong colour, too bright. And just progressing through this piece. I might actually pop a purple in there. This side of his face is in quite dark shadow. So I thought a little bit of purple might set it off quite nicely. Now it's probably going to end up looking quite different to the other side of the face because it has been so long since I've worked on this, like I said. But we'll see how we go. So in terms of what's been happening for me art-wise, there is a piece that I am working on. It is of an otter on pastel matte. And I thought it would be a really great piece to do. There was a lot of colour reflected in the wet fur and just a really, not a very good reference photo in terms of focus or anything, but I really loved the colour range and the shadows in it and the expression on the otter. And basically what it boils down to is I thought it was going to be a lot quicker to do than what it actually is. And it's taking me a really long time to work through that. And so even just because of the way the wet fur looks, anything that I'm doing on it at the moment basically just looks wrong until I get the rest of the detail in, I think. So this one's going to be a very slow process and it will be interesting to see how it progresses, but hopefully it turns out all right in the long run. That has come up way too bright. I'm not really that familiar with these. Because I use my Prismacolors so infrequently, I'm not overly familiar with the colours in terms of, oh yes, I need to grab that colour to lay it down. I'm just kind of grabbing whatever and hoping for the best. And I've only got I think this is the 24 set of Prismacolors, so my colour range is pretty limited. And I just basically have to work with what I've got. But as you can see, throughout the rest of this piece, I've got some blues in the shadows here, and even on this other side of the muzzle and under this eye. So it's really just a matter of blending colours until you get the combination that's suits what you're working on. I wonder if I should use a little bit of a cotton bud in here just to smooth this out a little bit. Might make me feel better. I'm so used to using cotton buds for blending. And this one is absolutely filthy. But it'll allow me to blend some of this colour out. Add in a little bit of brown over this. what I think we might do is pop this eye in, and then we've got a nice sort of little point of reference there. So there's actually sort of I might use this, what's this peachy colour? Oh, it's actually called peach. Peachy colour on this right hand side of the eye because there's a highlight there. And then we've got a white highlight up here. Hopefully I remember to pop this reference photo in the video for you, so you can see sort of what I'm working towards. Like I said, this isn't anything really detailed or thorough, it's just a relaxed sort of sketch piece. And then we'll go in with the black and really solidify this eye. This is not going too well. Looks a bit funny there. Oh well. It's just practice. This pencil, I love the colour. It's called Goldenrod, but the pencil's so short, I don't really know that it's really worth using much anymore. I'm sure I can still get a bit more use out of it yet, but it's certainly tricky to use. That's for sure. What happened to that brown I was using? That's Tuscan red. These pencils are confusing. I feel like the colours on the exterior of these pencils are not exactly very representative of what the core is. And then I wanted a little bit of blue. You can get some nice greys with blues and browns, combining them together. Just going to pop a little bit of brown in here. Hopefully you can't hear my cat digging at the door. I closed the door because I don't normally record video live with audio like this, and I thought it would just make life easier if the cats weren't in here. But now, of course, because I've shut them out of the room, they're just scratching at the door basically. Like, hey, why aren't we allowed in? What's going on? That's cats for you. Needs to sort of join in there a little better. Let's pop some black in. And maybe blend out with some blue. I don't know if that's the right choice. I don't think so. Gee, this is tricky without any greys. There is no grey pencils in this 24 set. That makes it very challenging. Let's get, is there a light brown? What's this? Sienna brown. That's a little bit reddish. Having trouble with these colours on this mouse. They're just very... very grey. Maybe we can work on the ear. So you can see there's just such a huge difference between the last time I worked on this and now. I have added so much extra purple in. That I probably wouldn't have added in before. I'm just going to sharpen this brown. Right. So I tried it in my Mobius and Rupert crank sharpener and it just snapped off really quickly. So I've just used a hand sharpener, a Statler brand, just to put a point on this. So I can add in some little fur detail and a little bit of brown tones instead of just all this purple. Just starting to get some of that detail in. And this thing with a sketch like this, you technically don't have to be very detailed. You go as detailed or as little or as no detail as you want. See, over the head I've got a little bit more detail, but on the side of the arm here it's much more fuzzy and ill-defined. So I think we'll do the ear. Try and get some of that in. I do like Prismas for the fact that I don't have to apply a lot of pressure with them, but they are just a bit too unreliable for my liking. Now this ear is in full shadow, unlike the other one. We'll see how we go with this colour combination. I may have gone a bit too brown. This is really a good example of probably why you shouldn't wait so long between completing a piece that you've been working on and when you started it. Simply because if you haven't written down what colours you're using where, you could end up really getting a different result from what you were originally getting. We need to add some purple and perhaps pink into this. Just not quite the right colour. Back to the peach. If you've been following my channel for a while, you may not have noticed, but I'm actually coming up on my first year anniversary for my channel, which is pretty darn exciting if you ask me. So I think it's May 15th is my first full year on YouTube. And what's even more exciting is I've actually managed to stick to my goal of uploading every single week on the same day. So that's really, really just, I'm proud that I actually managed to stick with it, because YouTube is a big commitment, and not only creating the art but recording the progress of that art and then editing all these videos is a really big job, and it takes me a really, really long time. And sometimes I just want to sit down and draw and not have to think about stuff, but I can't always do that because I actually have to draw while making a video. And it can actually be quite draining and a little bit off-putting. But so I'm really, really pleased that I've managed to actually stick with that and keep to that upload schedule. And I'm really hoping I can continue to keep up with it. Which is why sometimes not every video, such as this one, is as potentially as well thought out, or isn't something that's taken me as long, simply because I just don't have the time, or I haven't had the energy to complete something. But I always try, and have so far succeeded, to make sure I'm always uploading a video every week, no matter what it is. Obviously I do try and keep things interesting, and definitely art related. But they can obviously vary a lot from week to week. That is okay, but this little section is a very bit too violety pink there for my liking. How do I tone that down? Maybe a little bit of brown over the top. There we go. I think we will add a little bit of blue in here. Just a hint of indigo. And then we'll go back over that with the peach, just to blend it in a little bit. Just to emphasize those shadows a little more. Alright, let's just keep plugging along. Hope I can get a little bit more of this done. So at least got something to show for this. It's just so contrasty to what I've done before. I might have to boost some of these shadows over here, just to tie it in together. I think I need to just sort of lightly shade. If I do it light enough, the pencil strokes shouldn't matter, because I shouldn't really be able to see them. A little bit of purple, not too much. And back to those little hairs. Quite sure how to do that because it's grey, but it's darker than this area over here, which is currently not the case. Just add some of this black in. Maybe that will really help set things off. And I'm just rotating my pencil regularly to try and keep a nice, relatively sharp point so I don't have to just throw it in the sharpener every 2 seconds. He's a bit of a cutie, I gotta say. Well, he was cute until I kept working on him. Not sure how that's worked out for me, but... So not every piece of art you do has to be a serious piece of art. I love doing sketchy pieces, trying different things, mixing colours, trying different pencil strokes for fur and so forth. I think this just needs some refining. I'm not sure. This eye shape is just wrong somehow. Too much of a highlight there, perhaps. Not sure. I love his little nose. The little specks on his nose. The colour representation in terms of the pink for the ear isn't overly accurate, but when you've got a limited colour selection, it doesn't really matter. It's more about getting the tonal value right in that regard, getting it the right brightness or darkness. So that has turned out quite nicely. There's no real sort of mid-brown. There's goldenrod, and then there's sienna brown, but it's very red. Don't always want a red brown. Like a dark tan color or something. Very limited color selection. Well, I've already done that. Don't really want to add white, but I sort of want to smooth this out a little bit, so I'm just going to just go back and forth over it a little bit with the white. I don't want to add big white streaks, but I just want to blend it a little. That's good. Super cute. I know he's just a little rat. An invasive species here in Australia. This was a wild one that I photographed, so. But still cute. Still nice to photograph wildlife no matter if it's invasive or not. Well, I think we might end this video here. I do thank you for watching if you've joined me in this little sort of not live video, but real-time video just as I work on this little sketch. I know it hasn't been a very, like I said, not an in-depth video, but I hope it's been interesting for you all the same. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, do you like the video, and what do you think of my cute little rat here? I know not everybody is a fan of rats, but that's okay. I'm not really a fan of rats, but I love all animals anyway, so I can appreciate rats, if that makes sense. And if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you are notified of all my upcoming videos as well. And as always, I will see you next week for another video. Stay creative.